Hey everybody, I'm Ryan from Minus the Gym, and one-armed push-ups are one of my favorite strength builders. So in this video, I'm going to show you not only proper form for one-armed push-ups, but also the progressions you can use to learn how to do them. Okay, real quick before we start with the progressions, I want to explain three main points you need to follow for proper form. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you splay your legs. Okay, so have your feet at least shoulder width apart, maybe even further, and this is going to help you maintain your center of gravity throughout the movement so you don't topple over. Second, you want to make sure you have proper hand placement. And what I mean by that is when you do one-arm push-ups, you actually want a slightly narrow grip. So when you get ready to do one-arm push-ups, start off by pressing into the floor with hands about shoulder width apart, and then bring them about one hand's width narrower. Then you're ready to start your one-arm push-ups. And lastly, you want to make sure that you concentrate on internal rotation while you're doing your one-arm push-ups, especially on the negative part of it. As you lower down in a one-arm push-up, it's going to be very difficult to not topple over. To help with that, you need to create the proper tension in your torso. So what you want to do is when you're in the position for a one-arm push-up and you start lowering down, you want to focus on rotating not just your hand, but also your arm, shoulder, and your entire torso inwards, okay, internally, and then back to straight when you press out. So as you lower down, internal rotation, and then pressing back. Now what that means, internal rotation, is that you're rotating towards your midline. So your left hand will rotate to the right, and your right hand will rotate to the left. So a real quick summary of those 3 points for good form. First, you want to make sure you splay your legs. Feet should be at least shoulder width apart, probably further. Second, you want to have a slightly narrow grip, right? Not shoulder width apart with your hands, but narrower than that. And last, you want to make sure you internally rotate your torso to maintain balance. All right, and with that said, let's dive into the progressions. All right, let's get started with the one-arm push-up progressions by learning the wall one-arm push-up. Start off standing in front of a wall and place your hands on the wall about shoulder width apart. Spread your feet apart so your legs are in a straddle, and then walk your hands slightly inward for a narrower grip. Now pull one hand off the wall and then lower towards the wall while internally rotating your torso. As you press back out to the starting position, you're going to realize that this is not a very challenging variation because you don't have gravity working completely against you in the standing position. So the main purpose of this standing variation is to simply learn which muscles you're going to be using in the one-arm push-up and how to maintain proper tension. Make sure you work both arms evenly and build up to at least 8 reps per set. For the second progression, you want to work on high incline one-arm push-ups. Do this by putting your hands on an elevated surface like a railing or kitchen countertop. And again, legs are splayed, hands slightly narrow, and internally rotating as you lower your torso. And notice on this variation, I'm lowering my upper chest to the level of my hand. Again, make sure you work both arms evenly and concentrate on building up to at least 8 reps per side before you move on to the next progression. And the next progression is low incline one-arm push-ups. So find something like the bottom step to a staircase to do a low angle for these. Narrow grip, legs splayed, and internally rotate as you work on these. As you can see, we're simply lowering the angle as we work on our one-arm push-ups, building up to 8 reps per set. And then finally, you'll be ready to take it to the floor. So as always, make sure the legs are splayed nice and wide, hands are kind of narrow, about one hand's width inside, and then internally rotate as you lower. Now, if these are too hard when you get to the floor, concentrate on just doing the negatives. That's a great way to build up the strength you may need to go from low incline to floor one-arm push-ups. There are a couple other exercises you can work on to build the necessary strength if you need to, like these assisted one-arm push-ups, where I have one hand on an elevated surface assisting in the pressing movement. These don't translate directly to the one-arm push-up, but they do build the necessary strength for it. Another great exercise is the archer push-ups. And if you can't do archer push-ups yet, I highly recommend you learn them before pursuing the one-arm push-up. And I have an entire tutorial video on this. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video, as well as a link in the description down below. In my opinion, archer push-ups are probably the best lead-up exercise for one-arm push-ups. Alright, so there you have it. Those are the 3 main points for proper form on one-arm push-ups, as well as progressions you can use to learn them. Personally, I love the one-arm push-up. It's a really challenging exercise, builds incredible strength in your chest, shoulders, and triceps, and it's just really cool to show off with. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure you give it a like. Alright, that'll tell YouTube to help others find it as well. And make sure you subscribe and tap that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload. I'll be uploading all sorts of great videos about calisthenics, general home fitness, wholesome plant-based nutrition. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure you subscribe. Alright then, I will talk to you later, and good luck with the one-arm push-up.